everybody. Welcome back to the Thruline podcast. God, it's the middle of the summer. Are you enjoying it? I'm loving it. I don't really have much to say. You know what I mean? If you're watching, sometimes I'm just going to get into it. And I'm excited this week because there's a great show in LA called the Hot Tub Show with Kurt Brongholer and Kristen Schaal. Both great comedians, awesome people, and it's run by two amazing people, Joel and Mandy. They run the Super Serious show as well. If you're ever in LA on a Monday night, the Hot Tub Show with the Virgil, one of the best shows in town. And I was there the other night, and this week's guest, I'm like, oh, Shane Torres, who's this week's guest, was on the lineup, and I'm like, oh my God, if he's in town for a little bit, because he lives in New York, I'm like, I got to have him on the podcast, and you're going to love this week's. It's so awesome. Let me just tell you guys, I've been finding a lot of freedom lately. I've been finding freedom in just talking about things that I really like and things that, ideas that are, it's funny, but at the same time just mean something to me. And I feel like a lot of you out there responding, letting me know that you enjoy it and that's things that you question as well. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I got to say, great response from the solo episode. So I'm going to do another one of those and maybe do more of those. So I like doing it, and I like getting questions from you guys. If you have questions or things you want me to talk about, send them in to me. You can hit me up on Instagram, JLarsonComedy. You can send in my email, holidaybakeryproductions@gmail. Maybe I'll start another email. I don't want another email. I got a Facebook fan. Then we had to start another Facebook fan page because they shut us out because of content. And then I got a Twitter. I never go to Twitter. Fuck it. I have an email. I want to start another email. That's 6 things that I got to make. For what? It's too much, but maybe I will. Also, this week, want to give a shout out to The Whiskey Lifestyle. Go check them out. My good friend runs this brand. It's clothing, hats, and they do interviews. Go to Whiskey Lifestyle. Check them out. It's just a cool brand, and I love them. And my buddy Griffin, who runs it, it's a great company with cool swag. So if you're into it, you like it, they make cool hats. He does a lot of cool stuff. They have cool blogs, cool interviews. Check out the Whiskey Lifestyle. And let me tell you a little bit of this week's guest. I can't remember where Shane and I met, but I remember instantly loving this guy. He's the kind of guy that you're around and you're like, he just makes you feel comfortable, and I think you'll pick up on a lot of stuff. We have a lot of the same viewpoints, I think, on things, which, sometimes can be a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. With him, it's a great thing. You can check out his website, ShaneIsAComedian.com. He's got a really cool web series called Shane Torres Conquers Fear. We talk a little bit about it at the end of the podcast. It's an interesting idea. And check him out on social media. This week, if you're in Chicago, Shane is in Chicago at Zany's. They have 2 locations. He's there Monday through Saturday, 3 nights at one, 3 at the other. So if you haven't seen him already this week, because the episode is Thursday, check him out. His stand-up is so awesome. If you can't get to it or you don't live in Chicago, go Google Shane Torres Guy Fieri or Shane Torres Conan. It's one of the best jokes. His take on Guy Fieri is hilarious and refreshing and awesome, and I love this guy to death, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode as much as I did recording it. And as always, I appreciate you listening. Share with friends. If there's things in here that you like, send it to a friend. Like, yo, you got to peep this. You guys are the best. Enjoy Shane Torres. Well, we were just saying, I said that I don't think adults should be able to have birthdays celebrated in grand fashion every year. I think once you hit 40, it's every 5 years. 45th, yeah, throw a bender. 50th, but giant parties for 42-year-olds, you think?
That's just a construct. Like, your 5-year rule is no different than the 1-year rule, in my mind. There's no way.
That's why I don't like talking to smart people.
You just think it's a satisfying number because it's like in a divisible way, like.
So you're saying I should appreciate more time?
I mean, you're thinking about it a lot deeper than I would. I just like,
Who was
why not
it?
have a birthday party? It's fine. You don't have to have one, but I don't. Sticking to a 5-year rule seems a little stringent.
Yeah.
And actually, it's kind of more stringent than a 1 year, doing one every year.
You know what Robert Kelly said? I forget how old he is. You know Bobby Kelly?
Yeah, I've met him. I just met him, actually.
Okay, yeah. He said, he goes, you know what? I'm 40, whatever. He goes, I got 30 summers left. 30 summers left. So I don't have time for bullshit. So maybe, you know, that's the thing. Like, you know what? Yeah, you only have 30 birthdays left. Maybe you celebrate them. I just look at it like, if you're throwing a rager every year, come on. You know what I mean? Throw a rager every fifth. But
I don't understand why you wouldn't want to have a party every year. I don't do it myself. I say, hey, we're going to go to this bar and have drinks. I don't have...
Yeah.
I always do that. That's like, I'm not into planning a birthday party for myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's a big fucking deal. No, I know.
I don't... Maybe you... I don't know.
You said off mic. Maybe I just need to throw myself more birthdays.
I think you do. When's your birthday?
February 3rd.
February 3rd.
You know what it is, I think? When I was young, my mom one year, my 16th and 17th or 17th and 18th, I can't remember, back-to-back years,
Yeah.
threw me surprise parties.
I mean...
And I remember at the second one, I got home and all these people are at my house, and I went into my bedroom and bawled. I was like appalled. I'm like, I do not want attention on myself. What is this? This is ridiculous.
Said the stand-up comedian, actor, writer, podcaster.
But the thing is, for me, when I'm on stage, that's my time. That's when I get my attention. I'm
could
not
argue that your birthday is... There's no more time that is your time than your birthday.
That's a good point. And which I started doing like maybe 8 years ago. I started being like, you know what, on my birthday, that's my day. But what I do is I take it for myself, and like I go out and I do stuff when I see people. I love talking to people in general.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to people like,
You're
it's my
always
birthday
having a
today.
story like, I was walking down the street and I just talked to this guy for 2 hours. Like,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That's just me.
Yeah, I get it. It is. It's very chatty Cathy. Like
The other day I went to the cigar bar and started.
you were telling me about this last night.
that crazy guy. He
Yeah.
like knows my neighbors. I'm like,
and
so
I saw.
random.
I drove up to your house. I saw the black house you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Is the guy he was talking about? Is he like kind of a fit looking bald dude, short hair?
No. Oh wait. Yeah, I mean,
Your neighbor?
Yeah, he's shaved like tats everywhere.
Yeah.
You saw him?
Yeah, I saw him. I was like, that's Dave.
That's so funny, man.
But now I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah. I just think no, so I do that, and for my 40th I threw a big party for like a weekend and everybody went away and we had a blast, and I was like, yeah, celebrate yourself, it's great. And like when it's my kids' birthdays, I celebrate the hell out of them. But maybe I will. Maybe I turned 40. God, I turned 44 this year. How old are you?
I'm 37.
37.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm
talk
a young man. You know what's
What?
You should celebrate birthdays. Did you ever see that movie
gonna.
before the Devil Knows You're Dead?
No.
I think it was called like Ethan Hawke and Philip Seymour Hoffman versus Tomei and Albert Finney.
Oh, sounds like a horrible cast.
Yeah, really, a bunch of fucking turds. It's a very depressing movie.
Yeah.
But the saddest scene to me was like Albert Finney's like playing their dad, and he's like 66, and it's his birthday, and he's got to go get his driver's license renewed. That was like
that is depressing.
just like. That's his big plan for his birthday.
Yeah, totally.
And I was just like, good God, like.
How about if you got pulled over that day and then they were like, yeah, man, this is expired. You're like, it's my birthday, dude. Look.
My dad got a ticket on his birthday.
He did?
Yeah, from a cop. I remember that.
Oh, my God.
What a fucking dick.
What'd they say?
They wrote him a tune like, happy birthday. And my dad was like, thanks.
You know Josh Adam Myers?
Yeah, I do.
He got arrested on his birthday, and he was like so banged up about it. He started like, come on, man, it's my birthday. And the cops like, he's got like, they have him in cuffs and stuff. And like, oh, it's your birthday? And he's like, yeah, man. They're like, hold on a second. And the cop goes over and gets like 3 other cops, and they come back. And he's like, listen, man, I had no idea it was your birthday. And he's like, oh, man, this is amazing. And then they all sang happy birthday to him and arrested him.
That's pretty funny.
What is it with us as comics that we love hearing stuff where someone...
I mean, that's a ridiculous thing.
It is.
And like, I mean, you might... I guess as we talk about ourselves and talk to each other so much, we get to hear these stories all the time. But you could... If we weren't comics, like we both just worked at an H&R Block, and then like, like one year at the Christmas party, we're both a little loaded, and then you see like... a bunch of packing peanuts, and it goes, this time I had these packing peanuts, and I just put them all in my buddy's car and filled them up. You're like, I never knew that fucking story about you. I've been working with you for 25 years.
Totally.
Whereas, like, all we do is fucking gab with one another.
That's
and
it,
yeah.
That's our job.
It's pretty great.
That's why you say, like, you feel like I'm always chatting to someone out there. That's literally...
You are always chatting to someone.
I am. I can't stop. It doesn't matter where I am. I said something.
You like that about yourself, too.
I just love it in general because I love catching people off guard and seeing like what they're gonna say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I saw this woman one time like debating tomato sauces at Whole Foods, and I just leaned over to her.
Like she had like just one in each hand,
kind of. Yeah, one in each hand, just kind of looking, and I just lean over and I go, "Is price an issue?" And she goes, "What?" I go, "Is price an issue?" She's like, "No." And I go, "You got to go with the Rails. That's where you got to be. Why would you go with anything else?" And I just love throwing at people.
What did she do?
So,
how do you tell that story and then not tell me what she does?
Well, I'll tell you. So, like, I love doing that with people because, I mean, I do this every single day with if you're in vicinity of me, look out. I'm going to talk to you. It's just going to happen. And
why do you think they make that like that?
Huh?
That's you. That's my impression. You're like, you're just walking and we're just like, why do you think that archway's like that?
What do you think they do that for?
Yeah, it's good. You're full of wonder.
Yeah,
that's good.
And so then I kind of left her and went up to pay for my stuff, but I forgot something. So like in the middle of my checkout, I'm like, oh, I got to run and grab something. They're checking me out, and I run, and she's in the aisle, like the bread aisle. I had to get bread, and I stopped, looked in her cart, and she had the Rails, and I go, I like where you're at. I like where you're at.
What did she do? What was her?
I think she just like laughed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
It's rare that I don't get people like enjoying what I'm doing.
That you don't get a pop out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you get into it with people, or
little
you
bit.
stick
Like
to
the
yourself?
other day, I was like leaving. I was coming from a spot and walking to another spot just around the corner, and
in LA,
in New York.
Okay.
And there were these two ladies in front of me, and this huge jacked dude, like this guy, like a bodybuilder type, was wearing like one of their, those skinny tank tops that are like, they wouldn't fit over like a teenage girl, like
yes.
they're so and just huge, and the short shorts and all this kind of stuff. And he walked by us, and I saw the ladies in front of me. I could see one of their faces. She just goes, like she made this face, and I was like, just behind him, I go, I know, right? And they just started laughing. And I was like, what do you think that's like? Then I just went. They would start talking. I just went into my spot,
and just that's it.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. You know what? Because the way I look at it is like you are altering people's day. They were set on a path.
It might make them laugh for the rest of their.
It might change their whole day.
Yeah,
they were set on a path of how the day was going to go, and then you took them off that path, and then whether they come back to this or decide to go this way, I mean, they may have left there and been like on their way to dinner, and then passed like a bowling alley and seen a guy like, let's bowl. Who knows?
It's very. This is a thing I did do. I was in Minneapolis, and I was checking in really early to my hotel, and the person behind the counter was transitioning, and I was like, I think I'm gonna get this right. He was transferring to she, I think. But or maybe either way, I kept calling him the wrong. Like I kept yes, ma'am, no. Like I kept doing that
because
and then,
the appropriate thing to do is call them by what they're transitioning to, not from. Yeah.
Yes, and I was doing the wrong one.
Yeah,
and I noticed it halfway through, and I saw their name tag, so I just started saying their name instead. And then later that day, I felt really bad because they were not, like. And then I was like on stage at the club, and I go, "Hey, I'm just gonna bring this up. Would you guys apologize for this?" And a few people were like, "Yeah, definitely." And some people were like, "No, it might be weird." And then I left my spot, and I had some drinks, and I saw the person that was working the graveyard shift when I came in, and I was like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Hey, I know earlier when I checked in, I was saying it like this, and then she was like, "Thank you so much." She was like, "Honestly, I get it all the time, so I don't think about it, but I really appreciate you
that's
coming
amazing.
up and saying it." And then we had this whole funny exchange because their name was Neil on their name tag. And I was like, and I'm sorry, and it's Shane, by the way. Is Neil right? And she goes, "Oh no, this is my coworker's name tag." So I was like, "So you tripled
3 names?"
Yeah. And then we were like laughing, and then every night, like I'd be coming in late from my spots or coming from a bar after my spots, and they'd be like, "How you doing? How was your night? How was your show?" Like we we got friendly. It was
Of
cool.
course. Anytime you break down that wall of not knowing.
Yeah, and it was just cool to do the right thing. And they were also like, you were right. Like, you're right. I am doing this, and I just started the pills. So
Yeah.
and it was really cool.
It would have sucked if you were wrong.
Yeah, it's just like ugh.
But you know, how lucky are you? And that's why I think, because like, you know, I think so many people have this weird thing about like, well, I don't fucking, if you want to transit, I don't fucking care. You know what I mean? It's like this. People are still getting used to the idea that
it's still
you can
new.
do this.
It is still new,
Of course.
Yeah, and like, so some people are going to be behind.
Yes.
And
What I'm saying is, I think you're lucky to have met that person, because it gives you the ability to like understand it better. You know what I mean?
for sure, yeah, for sure. And like, I mean, I guess the education of it is like, you know, like, pay a little more attention. Like, you know, there's still
For sure.
That's what I would want.
Yeah.
If someone just kept
Yeah.
like saying like not offending me, but like
Yeah.
mistagging me is the word I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I think like, in situations like that, like when I did a show in Portland, and one of the security people was transitioning to a woman from a man, and she was the best. And like, I made it a point to go out of my way to like talk more and be like supportive. I didn't mention anything about the transitioning.
Yeah.
About just how great it was having her there every night, because like she was just awesome.
Which club was this? A club? Or
Helium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my home club. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. We gotta talk about Portland. And so, and it just like, it wasn't like an organic decision. It didn't just happen. I made a decision to make that effort, because I felt like,
And it goes a long way. You can also
It goes a
feel
long way.
You can also feel the tone of how they wanted to go after that too, which is very important. Like
100%,
I
man.
appreciate that. Which
Yeah.
maybe, but you can still be like, they appreciate it, but they don't want any more of me. You know, like
Yeah,
they
of
can
course.
also be a part of that too.
Trust
Yeah.
me, I know when people don't want any more of me.
It's about
'Cause
40 minutes.
I stick around. No, I think that's a long time. We walked out of a restaurant the other night, and there was this gay dude. I'm pretty sure he was gay.
Yeah.
And he was just standing up against the wall, and he just looked dope. And I just stopped, and I go, look at this. I like everything I see right here. And he goes, thank you. And I'm like, top to bottom. And he goes, well, what is it that you like? I'm like, the pants. God, I love the pants. I like a guy with no belt. You know those pants that have like that piece of cloth that flop over and like button on that side?
Yeah, they kind of latch almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't wear a belt?
That's a certain kind of guy that's going to pull that off.
You got to be fit.
Felt. Yeah.
And then like we like leave, and then we're walking around the corner, and my wife looks at me. She's like, "What do you always?" I'm like, "What do you mean? The guy looked great." It just makes people feel better.
Yeah, it does.
Oh wait, so you're not from Portland though?
No,
You're
I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
originally. Yeah.
What part?
Fort Worth.
So where is that? By the water?
By the water.
Texas is so damn big. It's
Yeah,
like there's
and-
so many huge cities in Texas.
Dallas is like 45 minutes east of us.
45 minutes east.
Yeah.
What's in Fort Worth? Is there a college there?
TCU's there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
TCU's there. Lockheed Martin's there. It's based.
Is
they
it
have
green?
Some, what?
Is it green?
No, I mean it's like Texas. It's kinda, but it's there's foliage and greenery, but it's not like a green place. It's not like Portland or something like that. You know, like
Yeah.
I mean,
Because like I've seen,
it's green like it is out here by your beach, where you have some dead yards, but also some
Yeah.
fairly green, I guess. But Fort Worth is, I mean, it was a big cattle town. Texas Instruments is there, I think, and so there's
TI, baby.
Yeah, TI 83, the Griffin Calc.
Texas Instruments. I remember when they came out.
And there's a ton of medical stuff there too. So
it's a big community.
yeah, I mean it's about 1 million people in Fort Worth.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's grown.
Yeah.
Last place Kennedy ever slept.
Jesus. Is that on the sign when
That's
you
on
enter?
it's on the side of the hotel I stayed in when I played the club.
No way.
Yeah. They don't let you forget it.
No fucking way. Like, you want to know what? This is all he remembers.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It's a dumb thing to put on.
I mean, we live in such a crazy time anyway, with like technology happening all the time. Like, things are changing constantly. Can you imagine having been a citizen in this country and the president was murdered?
That would be
It's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah. And like what a mark of shame it was. Like there's still people like, he died, what, 63 or 66 he was shot?
I don't know the exact year.
But like I remember like so there's still people alive that remember it
Yeah,
clearly.
of course. Yeah. My mom.
Yeah. And Well, he was a Massachusetts guy too.
Yeah,
so,
trust me. There was a picture of Kennedy in my aunt's house.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Kennedys, dude. And something with my family, the Kennedys and the royal family, like they were obsessed with.
Yeah, I was in Ireland like 2 months ago, visiting my aunties and doing shows, and we went. I'm from not far. My family is not far from where Kennedy is from.
Oh, really?
Or like his family.
Yeah.
And they erected a copper statue of John F. Kennedy in this little like Irish village. I'm like, why is this even?
It's
such a
crazy.
weird thing. They also have an Obama. Like
really?
It's so weird.
Like he's not Irish, guys.
Yeah.
You can't have everybody.
they really want him though. Yeah.
They're like, no,
there's
we're
like
gonna
a bridge
take him.
or something. I can't remember what it was. I didn't see the Obama one, but I was like, but my uncle was telling me about it, and I was like, Eddie was like, why do they have this thing of Obama? And he goes, who the fuck knows? Like,
We don't know.
yeah, Eddie's all right.
They got a Mondale statue.
Welcome to the Walter Mondale house.
I mean, what the fuck? Do you get back there a lot? I mean, dude, can we talk about your eyes? I mean, do girls just like all the time
They
be
do
like,
okay.
what's
What
up
about
with these eyes?
about your peepers too?
Oh, I got great eyes.
Yeah, you got
Great eyes.
I got to lock somebody in with these things pretty soon.
But you got these like crystal blue.
Oh, thanks, man.
Mine are sunflower eyes.
You're some.
Dude, my wife hates when I say that. No, I have like that. I have this yellow in the middle of my eyes.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, like around like your pupil, and my daughter and my son both have it. My wife, she has like green eyes, and they have like a light brown around the center of hers, but yours are just like pupil blue.
I look like my mom. Yeah.
Was that your
my
mom?
mom had eyes like that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Do your kids look like you, or do they look like your wife, or do they look like a mix of both of you? Like
I look
'cause
at
my
my
brother's kids look like him.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah.
See, I look at my kids and I can't see anything but them. You know what I mean? Like I don't see any. I'm just like
That's very sweet.
I can't. I just doesn't compute. But and I'll get back to that in a second. But if you look at a picture of me at 1 and my daughter at 1, it's like identical. Like I had long curly hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like we have a picture of her sleeping and one of me sleeping, and we had them on the fridge for a while. And I would say to people, I'm like, who do you think that is? And they're like, River. And I go, who's that? And they go, River. And I'm like, no, that's me. That's her. They're like, no fucking way. I'm like, dude, you don't see that? That's a 1970s Polaroid. But like we looked identical.
To you, yeah. I mean, that's got to be kind of like a cool feeling to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like, so when you just tripped out on the idea that like I can't see anything in them but them, I used to have this like thought that would used to run through my head a lot when I was in social settings, and I'd be talking to people and I'd be having full-blown conversations, but the only thing that would be going on in my head was, how do these people see you? You know what I mean? Because we can't see ourselves. Like even as me sitting here talking, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
I can't see my face. I hear my words. And I used to just sit there and I'm like, what do these people see when I'm talking? Do they see me as
How are they
something
absorbing?
different than
Yeah,
me?
yeah.
Because you know when you like, which again, back to your point about just the idea with that woman who's transitioning, anytime you see someone that you don't know anything about, right? Especially through social media, is like completely consumes us. Like we just look at people like, oh, they're doing so great.
Yeah.
But if you talk to them, you'll humanize them and be
And
like, oh, they're just like you.
Unless I think they're doing so great.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Or they're doing terribly, and you realize if you just talk to people, then it like you take all the mystery out and you just make them a normal human being. So
yeah, well, yeah, you literally humanize them as a. You're like,
Yeah.
you're pulling them out of the picture frame a little bit.
yeah, exactly, and judging and like you know
Yeah.
making them
Yeah.
into something. And so, what was the point gonna be? Anyway, so I know that like I couldn't. I sometimes like see people and like the way they do things or how they dress, and I'm just like, oh, that person's like X, and then you'll talk to them, you're like, oh, they're just a person, just like me and you.
Yeah.
So then I would be like, oh, do people? Because I only see myself as just like I always just see myself as I'm like this average dude who likes being outside and loves people. But some people might look at me and be like, this guy is X or Y or Z, and I used to sit
there's
there
a
and
ton
be
of
like,
I think that like I'm like. I'm not doing like some people will come up and be like, "You're doing so great." Like I haven't seen for a while that I grew up
Yeah.
with or something. They saw like my Conan or something. They're like, man, you must be killing it. You're doing so great. And I'm like, I'm hanging in there. You know, like,
You're like, dude, I'm eating beefaroni.
yeah.
I can't.
God, I wish.
Yeah, I know that show was the best. But I mean, you're an intimidating guy. You know
think
what I mean?
so?
Physically, you don't think?
No, I mean, I
Bigger
don't.
guy, you got long hair. You know what I mean?
And
Your
like-
eyes soften you, but like,
Oh, I mean, I've heard that before, but I don't think that. I know I'm big, and like, you
Sure.
know, like, but like, I don't. It's weird to me that people see me that way because I'm like, yeah, I'm big, but I'm like, I feel like I'm. I don't know. I guess I don't think like people. I don't think that's the first thing people when they see me. I don't think that's like what they absorb, but maybe it is. You know,
sure,
like,
no, I mean, I don't know either.
yeah, but like, I
do know that probably 85% of racism comes from the idea of what we think someone that we don't know about looks like.
yes,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like
yeah.
a hoodie. A hoodie became
Yeah, that's
like a
fucking
cannot wear object
That's
based on racism.
That's fucking crazy. But
I know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That's
guess-
something that people do.
I guess it is like So I live in Bed-Stuy, and there's like always guys hanging out late at night.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Yeah. Like just on their porches or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like not causing any trouble. They're just sitting there drinking and like maybe smoking pot or something, or
Yeah.
bullshitting, you know. And no one ever like one of my roommates. She's like she's a little thing, and sometimes she's just like
Lil thing?
a little thing.
What's up, Lil thing?
Sometimes she'll just be like, you know, she gets home fine. No one ever bothers her, but she's just like, I'm a little lady. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm using these guys as an example because we both walk by. I'm like, she's like, I'm just scared sometimes because there's just a bunch of guys, you know, like, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, like, maybe I am a little bit, but I'm also just like, it's because there's 6 of them, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't think of it in the same way. And also, I'm like, I'm pretty, like, I do think like I am pretty big. I can probably, you know, like,
Yeah.
go well enough.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I get that. Well, 2 things. One, I never even understood, you know, it's the idea of like a neo-feminist movement that's been going on the last couple of years, you know. I never even considered the idea until talking to some female comics, and they were like, you know, when you finish a show in anywhere, San Francisco or Boston, New York, Austin, wherever, Fort Myers, name it. As a dude, when you walk home from the club to the hotel at 1 a.m, you don't even consider it. You just walk home.
Yeah.
But for a woman, it's a whole different ballgame.
It's a whole nother thing.
It's a whole other thing. And I never even...
It's fucking like...
I just wasn't aware
It's
of
crazy that
to
you
the
don't
idea
like
that...
Yeah.
And
my
then,
friend was in an Uber, and she had been drinking, and it was during that. Did you hear about that story? That guy just pulled up like he was an Uber, and he murdered this poor girl. This was a few months ago, but she was drinking, and people were like, "Oh, she was drinking. She just got in the wrong car." It's like Uber exists because people are drinking. Like this fucking poor girl didn't do anything wrong. Like. You know how many times I've opened the wrong door to a car that I thought was my Uber?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so it's like, it's just one of those things of like, that's how scary it is. Like,
I got in one time, and the guy goes, Doug? And I go, what's up, Doug? Jay He goes, no, are you Doug? And I was like, no. I'm like, I think that's Doug right there. Yeah, I know that's...
Yeah.
And
that's how scary it is. Like, even a thing we think is safe for us.
Exactly.
That's the point I'm trying to get. Like, yeah.
Which is
and
why
I was like, well, then text me when you get home. You know, like,
yes,
yeah.
And I never even considered all that. I just, you know, just because one, it never affected me, you know.
Yeah,
And most
you don't
people,
know.
if it's not something, you know. And so, but basically, 2 things. I still see women be like, oh, me too. Okay, enough. You know what I mean? Enough with it. And then you're just like, well, if the Me Too movement didn't happen or isn't happening, then we're not going to be aware of the idea that, like, even walking home at 1 o'clock in the morning is a scary idea for a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, you got to push to the extreme just to make people aware of this, you know?
Yeah, I think you have, like, movements don't happen subtly. So change doesn't happen subtly. Like, change happens subtly, but, like, you need a push.
You
Like,
have
you don't
to
go,
push.
in my opinion, you can't just be like, can we please have you stop hurting us? Like, that's not how it, you have to be willing to hit somebody in the nose or whatever, like, whatever the analogy is. So, like, you know, and sometimes I do think things can go too far.
Yeah, of course, me too.
But I do
No pun
see
intended.
the see the reason in it, like
Yes,
and why it makes sense. And then, but if you're talking to like a reasonable person, whatever the movement happens to be, they'll be like, "I see what you're." A lot of the time, they'll see what you're saying, and like,
which is why I'm saying we all need to talk more to other people, because then you break down these like those people you're walking by, for example. When I was living in Venice, right? This was.
Are we not in Venice now?
No, we're in Mar Vista.
But we're close.
But we're very close.
Okay.
Yeah. So I lived in Venice from 2000 to 2006 or 7, and
you really like the beach, huh?
Yeah, you know what? I was just like, if I'm gonna live here, why would I not live near it? And it was just so peaceful. I also didn't come here with like knowing I was gonna be a stand-up, knowing that if you live on the West Side, it's gonna make your life a lot harder for auditions, meetings, shows. And then I just got used to it. I'm like, well, you know what? The hour drive for everything I have to go to is worth waking up and having it cool in the morning with an ocean breeze. You know what I mean?
Well, that's an interesting thing. But also, it was a blessing that it was difficult for you at first, because then you don't recognize that. That's a thing. Like, when I first got to New York, I was living on my buddy's couch for a while and paying this much money, and then I'd be walking dogs and doing Postmates and all this stuff. And it was all super hard.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any other way of New York.
Totally.
So now then it was just like, well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Ignorance is innocent.
Yeah.
When I first started doing stand-up, people were like, you started in L.A.? Isn't
I
that
was
super
talking to
hard?
Fortune about that this morning. She
With who?
Fortune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
she's so damn nice.
Yeah, she's great. It was like I was doing her and Papa have that radio show now,
Mm-hmm.
and I was there, and then she was just like, "Yeah, I started at the Comedy Store." I was like, "That's fucking insane to me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I started, that was the first club I got past that. And, like, for a lot of people, that's where you start, because it's the only club in L.A. that develops comedy. You know what I mean?
Like, everybody else comes informed to a degree.
Yeah,
at other places.
There's no room. Like, you go to the Comedy Store, you get a job as a door guy or working the phones, and then you get to, like, even now, every show at the Comedy Store is opened by a door guy. You get 5 minutes, you open the show. 1, it's the hardest spot. 2, you only get 5 minutes, and it's a chance, like, they're developing.
So you have 1 minute to get attention. And you got to do.
And everyone's just getting seated. They're getting their drinks.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
But
so
they
you got to come out
comedy.
firing quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I noticed that with New York comics when I first got there, because like everybody gets 3-minute sets.
Yeah.
Like you're like, Jesus Christ, these guys are punchy.
For sure.
Yeah, and they get to it quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good and bad. It helps you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is, I was living in Venice, and I lived in like an area where there were gang members lived on my street, right? So like, it wasn't a super safe area at times. I never felt in danger.
Yeah.
Even one night, my roommate came over to me, and we both had like girlfriends over, and he's like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a sec?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we lived in this little like house, and next to us was an apartment building that had all your doors to the apartments were to the outside, and there was like 4 on the first floor and 4 on the second, and there was like a stairway up and then a porch, stairway down.
Yeah.
And so he takes me over to the window, and outside our house was a little patio or like walkway to a guest house, and then like the fence, and then that property. And all on the step going up to that second balcony were like 10 dudes, 11 dudes, all wearing bandanas over their faces, all with semi-automatic weapons.
Jesus Christ.
And what had happened was a dude in a rival gang who lived in my neighborhood had just got out, and these guys were coming to get him because he just got out of jail. So like, when I tell people that there were gangs, people are like, "Oh, we're there. You live in a gang neighborhood," and you just don't, unless you've ever lived there, you don't realize like, yeah, you can live in peaceful neighborhoods that have gangs, right?
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's not going to be written on the side of the street.
It doesn't mean that it's like, it doesn't mean that, everything is just like constant gunfire.
Yeah, of course.
But,
so, as an example, I got to know all the guys on my street and girls, right?
Yeah.
And I remember coming out to my car one morning to move for street cleaning, and one of the guys is coming to my place. And he's like, "Yo, just coming to get you. You got to move your car, man. Street cleaning." Another time I come out to my car, and I would leave my windows down. Like, I'm a big believer, like, you put up a fence, people are going to try and jump that fence.
Yeah, there's a defense in like
in protecting.
Like, you don't have to crack my window if you're going to steal my.
Yeah, exactly. So I would leave the windows down, and there were times I would come out to my car, and there'd be like 4 or 5 of these dudes sitting on my car, just smoking joints and stuff. And I come out and they'd be like, "Jay, what up? When you gonna sell me this car, man?" I'm like, "I'll sell it to you right now." And they go, "How much?" I go, $2,200. Like, $2,200?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Well, what do you want to pay?" And they're like, I don't know, how about
You're putting dents in it right now. Yeah.
They're like, how about 1100? I'm like, nah, man, you gotta get up to 22. You gotta get a 2 in front. Like, and it was.
And they were like, you're never going to be buddies with those guys, but you did have like a nice neighborly experience with them.
And one Mother's Day, I had bartended like brunch at the bar I was working at, and I come home.
Fucking nightmare shift. Worst shift of the year.
What, Mother's Day?
Mother's Day brunch? Are you kidding me?
I know.
hate.
Why? Have you worked? Were you waiting tables?
Oh, I waited tables, tended bar. Yeah, I did all that. Yeah, yeah. Because it's just everybody wants their mom to have a nice day, and everybody's mom is there. You know, like
Mimosa Central.
Mimosas and just people who don't go out to eat a lot, so their etiquette is off. Yeah.
So I come back from brunch. You know, it's like 5:30. I'm getting home, and I'm on my street, and a bunch of people are celebrating Mother's Day. It's not like, oh, they're gang members. They don't have Mother's Day. Yeah, they have Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And they're all dressed up, and everyone's doing their thing. And all the kids who are like, you know, anywhere from like 18 to 27 are out in one of their cars, and they're all smoking a joint around the cars. And then the rest of the families are all in the house. You know what I mean? Just like you would at anyone's.
Yeah. That's fucking nuts, because that would definitely happen. Yeah.
You know, it might not be weed, it might be booze, or, you know.
Whatever, but like there's kids doing shit they shouldn't be doing. Yeah.
So I roll up, and they're like, what's up, man? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, I go, Happy Mother's Day. And they're like, yeah, we're celebrating. They're like, you want to hit this? And I'm like, yeah. So I hung out, and I'm smoking this joint. And then one of the moms come over, she's like, what are you kids doing? You smoking weed over there? They're like, yeah. She's like, give me some of that. And like smoked some. And I sat there again, like you said, I never kicked it with them outside of when I would run into them, because we just like very
you weren't
different.
Gonna do that, but they weren't like looking for that from you either. Like, yeah.
No, but the point being is when you break down the wall of not knowing, and you have a conversation, and you just, instead of putting up a defense of like, I don't know who that is, I don't know what they're about, they're not like me, and you just break it down to mere conversation, you can humanize people to realize like, oh, they're just like me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no need for me to like think that I'm gonna.
So this is one of the reasons you feel like you are like how you are when you talk to people.
I think so. Yeah. I think I like constantly, and I think it's something I learned over time, because I had a fear of not knowing. Oh, we all do. You know, if you don't know something,
it's
like
a scary thing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you good with dogs?
I love dogs.
Yeah.
I love.
Do you have
dogs.
one?
No, I can't. I mean, like, just like with as much as I'm gone and
220 days a year, you can't have a dog.
Oh yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
God.
My roommate got a cat that's always in my fucking way.
So you're a dog person, not a cat person.
But this cat's just so goddamn needy. Like, no matter where I am, if I'm washing dishes, it's gonna be under my feet. If I'm like, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
see, I would think you would
she's like, be
that.
nice to it. Be nice to it. I'm like, I am nice to it, but it's if I'm gonna stand right behind you when you're cooking dinner tonight the whole time.
Yeah, I know, man.
That you'll love that, won't you?
Haven't you ever worked in a restaurant? Stay behind.
Yeah, behind you. Hand on my back. Top
Corner. Coming around.
Corner. Full hands in, full hands out.
Totally.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. That's like, cats are normally, my problem always with cats is they don't love. They don't give any love.
This one's overly affectionate.
Really?
Yeah, and in a way I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Do you ever have like a relationship where it's coming to the end and you're like trying to hold your girlfriend's hand or trying like, like,
of course,
be like, give them a little, and then they're just like, no, I'm good.
I know.
That's how I am with this cat. Like,
it's not even coming to an end. It's just gonna keep going.
Like, I mean, I swear to God, if it wasn't home when I get back, next Sunday,
You'd be stoked.
I would be like, if my roommate, if she was like, I don't know where Toby is, and I'm so sad, and I'd be like, I'm really sorry. Then I would go to my room, and I swear to God, I'd probably be like, oh man.
You'd be like, do you put signs up? She's like, no, and you're like, you probably shouldn't. I'm sure. I've read statistics, and chances are you're not going to find.
It's bad for the environment.
I kind of like.
I would be in my room being like, oh my God. It's so good.
Well, I mean, it's also like, pets are like another kid. It's like a kid, you got to take care of a pet.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah.
Do
you guys have pets here?
No, we have fish. Excuse me, we have 5 fish, and
I guess yours are still a little young.
Yeah, bruh. But even then, dude, like, I have friends that are like getting dogs, and I'm like, why are you getting a dog? You have 2 kids. You're just getting another kid. They're like, no, I'm like, no. It's a horrible idea. I just look at it like, trust me, I hope someday that I guess that we'll have a dog because I think dogs are cool, and I like cats.
We have the nice yard stuff too.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to have to like train a dog not to pee, don't poop there.
Yeah,
you gotta do this.
with everything you have going.
Yeah. Like ultimately, dude, when I was growing up, my neighbors across the street had a German Shepherd. They had a dog house and a run, and that dog lived outside. There was no fence around that yard. That dog lived in the doghouse. It was insulated, and then it would be on its run, and that's where the dog went. I think that's the way it used to be. You had dogs, and they lived outside or in a barn.
We definitely that's an outside dog. Yeah. Like
I can't, but people have like dogs, and they like,
fucking.
It's like
treat
all
them
right.
like, yeah. I mean, I probably am better. My brother has 3 dogs, 2 German Shepherds and a pit bull, and 2 kids in the house.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is the messiest fucking thing I've ever.
Oh, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
German Shepherds and a pit bull.
Yeah, and the Shepherds they shed, and they're like,
Yeah.
they're sweet dogs, and
They're
like,
amazing.
And then the pit bull Frank is the best. Like he's like, but I'm just like, God damn it! I want to sit on the sofa without telling something to move.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, see, dude,
Also, they ruin shit.
Yeah, well, they're animals.
Yeah. So I mean, so do kids, I guess. So yeah.
Yes, and they're animals. I remember my neighbor, that dog Baron, that was his name. When I was little, and I would call them, and they would bring Baron over to my backyard, and I would ride him like a horse. You know what I mean?
Was he
like,
that big?
Yeah, he was a big, and I was little. But like, I've never had a fear of German Shepherds, but I always had a fear of pit bulls. Okay, this is the same philosophy of like talking to people.
Yeah.
So I always was afraid of pit bulls because back in the day, when people started getting afraid of pit bulls, like one at a barbecue in Massachusetts bit a baby's head off and shit. You know what I mean?
Jesus
It's like just what you were in the news.
Yeah.
Like you. So I was always afraid of pit bulls, and this one bar I worked at, my bar manager had a pit bull, and I would like do the books for him sometimes, and I was at his house, and I was like, bro, like, I gotta be straight with you, man. I'm like deathly afraid of that dog. Like, I can't. And he's like, really? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, we'll bring her in the other room. I'm like, all right. And this thing was so sweet. It would crawl like this along the ground around the couch just to get to my like feet.
And get you to like it.
Because it was like, why don't you want to be around me? And I was just like, hey, buddy. And I'm like, this dog's going to sense my fear.
That's the fear is with pit bulls especially, is that they're just going to snap one day.
Yes, exactly.
Like a PTSD kind of thing or
yes.
something. Yeah.
And now I've finally gotten to a point where like I can like be cool with a pit bull. I still am a little cautious of like getting my face up to their face. It just like freaks me out a little.
I get it.
I wish I didn't, but it's like if I knew one
maybe
and I'm around
them. You should get a pit bull.
I don't know about that.
What?
I feel like I'm more of like a black lab kind of guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, these glasses make you feel like a black lab.
Yeah,
kind of guy. Yeah.
Honey,
yeah.
Call the dog.
Yeah. What's the dog's name?
I don't know. I love that your brother's dog's name is Frank.
Yeah.
All I'm seeing right now for that black lab is Charlie.
That's a dog name.
Yeah.
I don't know if Frank is a dog name, but Charlie.
No, but that's what I love. I love a dog that's not named.
Frank's a Polish plumber. Like
Frank, what do you think? He's like, I think it's gonna be 800, maybe
I gotta
850.
fucking snake it, and then we'll see.
I mean,
Might have to get yourself a new shitter.
Until I snake it, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean?
we might have to put a new pipe in. We'll see.
We get Russian plumbers. Everyone in my neighborhood, like anytime we need a plumber or heating, it's Russian dudes.
Really?
Well, definitely the heating and AC. For Christmas 2 years ago, I was cooking and like I peeled all these potatoes and put it down the garbage disposal. Not a good idea.
Yeah, real bad.
Clogged it and like it was, and I had to get a plumber. Like it was done. It was cashed. So these two dudes show up Christmas Eve, and they were like, "What'd you do?" They were from Philadelphia, two Philly guys. Like, "What'd you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I was peeling potatoes," and like, can't put potatoes in there. I'm like, I thought like that's the whole point of a garbage disposal. You can put like stuff in there. And he's like, nah. You can't put anything in there. It's just to catch maybe little stuff, but you can't be throwing.
It's not like a devouring thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're just like talking to you like you're an idiot.
Yeah. No, they were just super nice, but I'm like, they're out here on Christmas Eve, you know, like my whole family's, not my family, my wife's sister and kids, so like they're all there. So these guys are like, all right, we got to get to your exterior. I'm like, all right, and they undo this thing, and I don't know what they did, but they figured it out, right? So I'm like, can I make you guys a plate? And they're like, nah, we're all right. We got to get out of here. You know, it's the busiest day of the year for us. And I go, really? And they go, yeah, Christmas and Thanksgiving, 2 busiest days, because everyone's doing what you're doing. They just think you can put it down. And I'm like,
because everyone's doing what you're doing, Jay.
So I'm sitting there Christmas Eve, and so there's the one guy who's like the business guy, and then there's the other guy who's just there for
hands.
The hands. And the hands guy is standing over here in the middle of my living room, and my niece and nephew and my kids are all sitting there kind of looking at him. He's kind of a strange dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's staring at the Christmas tree.
Well, they don't see a lot of dudes like this dude.
No,
yes, that's a better way to put it. Yeah,
exactly. And he walks across. He's staring at the Christmas tree. He walks across the room, goes up to the tree, and just goes, "That's a good tree," and then walks right back to where he's standing. And like, I'm loving it. I think I'm like, this guy's the best.
Because you're an East Coast guy too, so you kind of like that. You like that attitude. There's a attitude, or like just the way those people are out there,
just taking it in. Yeah. And a guy who's just like, hey, I'm here, I'm in your house, whatever.
Yeah.
And his brother's like doing paperwork. Guess how much it cost for that?
For them to
just that they were there for maybe 35, 40 minutes.
I'm gonna guess there's like a call fee. I bet because it's a holiday, they're charging
Christmas
extra.
Eve. Yeah.
There's like a weird thing they're busting you on there with the actual service itself.
Everything.
And clean up, and maybe some kind of variable because they had to go outside.
Yeah, maybe.
$625.
That's a very good guess. I think it was $5.95.
Jesus,
it was definitely had a 5. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it, and I'm like, you know, I had to pay.
I gotta go return my son's bike.
I love it. Unfortunately, you can't have it. I'm gonna have to take that back.
It's just. Plumbers are open on Christmas,
you gotta understand something.
But not toy stores.
Not toy stores. Yeah, it was just like you got to pay it. You know, it's like I got to cook a dinner. You know what I mean? Like we couldn't cook dinner.
Yeah, and also that's one of those things. Stuff like that when it happens on holidays or like kind of like shit, like in the middle of something like that. You're like, I'm just gonna pay this and say fuck it because I want this is the more important thing. There's a small blessing if you can just be like. We're just doing it this way today. Like, yeah.
There's tons
I know
of
normally
things.
I would freak out if it was Sunday and I was just making dinner. I'd be like $595, like, but everybody's there, so you're kind of forging through.
Yeah. Tons of things that you're like, fuck it, spend the money. It's going to be enjoyable instead of like, you know. Yeah,
it's like what I'm going to ruin everyone's Christmas because I'm going to piss and moan over a thing I caused.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, over $600 that I probably a lot of the time. I would be like, I don't even know what I did with $600.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like
it's just like when you look at it and you're like, that's I think that's just getting older. Where you're like younger, I'd be like, fuck it. You know, first of all, I probably wouldn't be cooking for.
Also, first of all, there was no way I would have if younger and I ruined a garbage disposal.
Yeah,
that thing would have stayed ruined. Like
100%.
Like I just been like, hey, don't.
We got a bathroom sink.
I put a piece of paper over it.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Yeah. That's the way
you say don't use the garbage disposal to anybody who walks into the kitchen.
Don't even use that sink. Do you cook?
A little bit, yeah. I like to. I've been spending so much money eating out lately.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine
like on
when you're
even
gone
when I'm
so
home,
much.
like I just order out because
it's easy.
Yeah.
We're back after a quick bathroom break. For, I was just telling Shane, I got asked to do this gig, and I was like, the money there's basically like no money. And I was like, oh yeah, I couldn't do it for no money. And they were like, well, we could give you, we have this trade system where we could give you like a 3-night trip to Mexico, and to stay at this like resort. Not paying airfare or anything like that. Like you have to get yourselves there and stuff. So I was like, all right, So
hold on, you had to fly yourself in.
No, the gig was in L.A. I hosted this event in Los Angeles.
I see. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm
they're like, we can't pay you, but
I thought you were doing a gig at the...
Oh, no. Excuse me, although I did just get offered something like that.
Yeah, I've been offered those kind of things before.
They're like, you come to this place and you perform, and you're just like, all right, so is there pay? And they're like, well, there's a little bit of money, but you get to stay at this resort. It's all inclusive. It's an islands. And you're like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no. I mean... I get it. I mean, for some people, that's a nice gig.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not trying to turn my nose up at it, but I'd like, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. If I'm not making money, I'm not working. Like, that's,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, I get that's a nice thing, but like, to me, that's like, well, then just pay me money too. If you can afford to give this away, like,
yeah.
And it's not like, the other thing is like, I'm not like,
they don't,
looking forward to that show.
We have a different job where people are like, yeah, but you're going to be having fun. And you're like, nah, I'm still working here.
All right, yeah, ask the video editor to do all this for free. Ask this person to do all this for free. Be a dentist for free.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same,
I got a bicuspid that needs work.
Yeah, I got my lateral incisor. Man,
How's your teeth? You got good teeth?
I think I need to go see a dentist, honestly.
When was the last time you went?
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
How many years? More than 8?
Probably not that bad. But
okay. Yeah, you got to go.
Yeah.
Only reason I say that, because my wife got on me on it. And they were like, we got a lot of work to do. And it's been like a year and a half, and I'm finally in the clear.
You feel
better? Maybe more than that. 3 years of work. Oh, yeah. They say like so much stress and mental and body health comes from how well you maintain your teeth.
I'm sure. Yeah. It was weird. I was in Portland, and this guy was a dentist who's like kind of a comic or whatever, trying to be a comedian. He's like, if you do my podcast, I'll do whatever dental work you want for free.
Oh my God! Just do it.
Yeah, that's like the plan. I'm gonna be back out there next month, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, let's do the pod. Let's get it. Let's start to get this rolling." It's like, even if it's just drastically discounted, I'd probably be down.
Dude, in the last 4 years, I never had my wisdom teeth pulled, so those all got pulled because I had to have another one yanked out because it got so bad. So like the root canal,
I've never had mine pulled.
4 other pulled. Right?
No.
I've had 3 cavities, another crown, and maybe another crown, and then have to wear a mouth guard at night because I grind my teeth at night. Do you grind your teeth?
I don't know if I do.
Does your jaw hurt in the morning?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Dude, my son.
I mean, like, I've never had like a girlfriend or anyone be like, you were, yeah. Did your wife tell you?
No. And because I don't think it's like loud. Because I know like sometimes when I'm stressed, I'll just do that. But dude, I was at home in Boston with my son, and we like shared a bed together, and I would put him to bed, and then I'd hang out with my mom and then go to bed. And dude, he was grinding his teeth it was so loud and so screechy, and I was like, oh my God, this is the worst.
And and it's because it's your boy too, so it's a little like, I bet there's even like an amount of tension there that's not even like,
I don't care.
This isn't like having somebody who's snoring next to you.
No.
Like, no, yeah.
You can be like, hey, and I did. I was like, bro,
yeah,
you're grinding your teeth. It just hurt. It sounds like it hurts. It's just the worst.
Yeah. Sean, of course you know Sean Patton.
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever do that bit where he talks about like he snores, and then his girlfriend will just like punch him in the back when he's sleeping? He's like, it's not my fault, and also it's not stopping me from snoring. Like
totally.
You're like, you hitting me doesn't fix the issue.
That's not doing anything.
Yeah.
You getting out whatever else you're pissed at me about.
Yeah.
Here.
Like just like,
But hardcore snoring is like,
it's really difficult.
Yeah. So I feel like, we were talking before. I wanted to know about your web series because I thought it was interesting, and I feel like what you described to me, which I want you to describe it again, it fits you in such a way. You're a pretty positive guy. Do you think you're a positive guy? You're not?
No.
I don't think you've said a negative thing the whole time we've been chatting.
I try to be positive for other people. Yeah, like if this is not.
Yeah.
No, not even like if it's applying to me.
Yeah.
The world is constantly ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even.
I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
but even putting it out to other people means you're like putting a focus on positive things.
I think maybe it means I have sympathy or but
I remember my mom telling me as a young kid, like, be positive, blah, blah, blah. And I remember being like, oh, my God, enough with the positivity stuff, lady. That doesn't do anything. And then as I get older, I'm like, oh, yeah, like.
It does.
Put positive things in the world and positive things come back.
I'm just more like, I guess my version of that would be like, I am going to just be a worker. Like, I'll work my way through anything. Like, so, like, even if it is, like, emotional or something, I will, like. I don't think it's positive. I think it needs to be done and handled. So, like,
I get that.
And I guess that is a positive thing, but I don't, like, you got this. I don't say that, because I don't know if I got it.
You got this, Shane.
I really don't. Like, so I'm just like, you're going to try as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And then you'll be, very happy that you, even if it doesn't go the way you want, things don't go the way you want, you'll be like, well, you did what you were supposed to do. Like
Gotcha.
there's a positivity in that. There's a relief in not thinking I left something on the table. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I like that.
That's why,
but
like,
dude, to be negative and put work into stuff is hard. Because if you're negative, you're gonna stop yourself from trying, from achieving.
yeah, I guess so. I'm
you
not
know?
negative, but I'm pessimistic, maybe,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
realistic.
I get pessimistic
yeah.
or realist.
Yeah, but I guess that's like.
But
that's probably one of the reasons I like stand up so much. It is my favorite thing is that I am responsible for what I am doing up there. You know, like
100%.
if something goes bad, I usually know what about it's my fault.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most of it.
yeah. Most
Yeah.
of the time, yeah.
I mean, I never try to blame an audience, but I love that.
I have blamed audience, and sometimes
I have too, but
and
I try not
and they
to.
just sometimes they deserve to be blamed.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about the web series because I think it's interesting.
It's called Shane Torres Conquers Your Fear. We put it out with Comedy Central. Hopefully we get to make more.
Yeah.
But the idea of it was positive fear factor. So I'd have these friends. I'd ask them what their phobias were, and then we would build a challenge for them to overcome this phobia.
Yeah.
Like my friend Molly Austin was afraid of snakes, so we built a challenge with her having snakes. But we start. It's corny too, in a way of like we sit in two chairs like this, and I'm like, so tell us about your fear. How did it start? Blah, blah, blah. And then we're gonna do like a little immersion therapy. So I made her wear like a snakeskin jacket, and then I showed her a picture of Jake the Snake Roberts, and things like
that's
dumb fun.
hilarious.
Yeah. And then I like hit her with gummy snakes and stuff like that. and then at
And then
the
you
end,
get to eat them.
yeah, there was like 40 pounds of gummy snakes.
No way.
You know, I just kind of just kept. Like I would just casually I would just if there's something in a bowl in front of me that can be snacked upon, it's the end of like.
Do you know my accountant, who I see once a year? They have in every room in the place. The waiting room is a jar of like mini like Kit Kats, Hershey, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And every year I know I'm going to see my accountant. I'm stoked because I can't wait to eat out of those.
Yeah.
And his office is another bowl.
Yeah,
Oh, I
they're like,
crush it.
Jay, you can't have this much of a deductible meal in the great state of Massachusetts.
I'm like, I don't know what to tell you,
Have
man.
a crackle.
Yeah, totally.
My accountant is based in Pittsburgh. Well, no, that girl I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
Her and I I was spending the weekend with her, and I did radio, and the radio guy was like, I can't go to my Steelers game on Sunday night. Do you want the tickets? And she's like, she's hardcore, like, reps Pittsburgh. She's got a Penguins tattoo on the inside of her hand.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, she's a total babe, and it was so fucking cool. And we were, like, 3 rows back. I could see Phillip Rivers screaming at everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, but we were there, and this guy from this band, The Common Heart, that's based out of Facebook, was a fucking sick band, really good.
What kind of music is it?
Kind of like Nathaniel Ratliff and the Night Sweats a little bit, like kind of really great vocals, like some horn stuff,
Oh,
not like
cool.
clap and stuff. It's I'll send you. I'll tell you what. I'll text you like 3 songs, and
Love it.
you're gonna fall in love with this guy's voice. Is great. But he was there, and he's a fan of mine. We were talking and bullshitting, and he came over. She manages bands and stuff, so they know each other.
Oh,
and
man.
yeah, and she does. But we were sitting there, and he came over and brought me 2 beers, and he goes, "Oh, this is my buddy Dave. He's my accountant." And I was like, yeah. It's like I need an accountant. He was like, all right, man. I just sit on my shit, and then we were just like eating sandwiches, and I was like, if this guy's drinking beer and eating sandwiches, like maybe he's not the best guy on a Sunday night to be getting.
I don't know if that's the guy I want.
It's my guy. It's my guy.
First of all, you got an accountant.
He still
in
hasn't gotten
Pittsburgh.
back to me. He might just have all my tax information.
You got a dentist in Portland.
Yeah.
And now, if you see him eating a bowl of gummy worms, maybe that's not your dentist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So wait, why did you come up with that web series? And like, so then how did you conquer the snake fear? Or like, what was
I
the
didn't
thing?
even get that. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you know those trashy like spray painted shirts that people will get on boardwalks, like on
Yeah,
the
of
East Coast?
course.
Yeah, we did those like in the Britney Spears "Slave for You" video, and then we got a boa constrictor or
real
like
one?
python. Yeah, and we made her dance with it, and we wore those, and I did it too.
Are those dangerous snakes?
I mean, there was an animal wrangler. I don't know.
No,
if it
I
was-
know there's a wrangler.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know, Molly. If it was a dangerous snake, I'm sorry.
yeah. And was she freaking out the whole
Oh,
time?
it was calling through her hair. She was just like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, I had to yell at her to get a dance. And like there was the director, this guy Michael Wolf, was like, you have to get her to like hold. Like he was like, because we were coming up on our lunch break or whatever, and he was like, this we're gonna go into overtime. It's gonna be a whole fucking.
Listen, we cannot pay for her phobias any longer.
Yeah. She will still pay for them. And so he was just like, get her to do it. And I was like, he's like, now you put it on you. And I just had like, I didn't even really have time to think about it. I just had to put it on. And the thing went like, slid, like it was over my shoulders and it slid right across my eyes.
See, some of the like punishments on, what the heck's, Impractical Jokers. Do you watch Impractical Jokers?
Yeah.
Man, those guys kill me.
They're so funny.
They're so funny, dude.
And they're sweet to one another. And
yeah.
They clearly love each other. Yeah.
Sal's the only one I've met.
Sal's the only one I know, too.
And he is ridiculously nice. You're just like, dude, how are you this nice? And so I put that on all the time. But their
he's
punishments
always smiling and like
always
happy to see people. Yeah.
And he's also like, he has got tons of fears. So like punishments, they've like tied him down in like a box and then put like tarantulas over him and snakes.
Yeah, I would do. Yeah.
And he's like full blown, like almost crying, being like, guys, like freaking. And you're just sitting there like seeing the joy they're getting out of it. You're just like, oh, this is the greatest.
Do you know Casey James Salengo?
No, but that's one of the greatest names of all time.
He's like a Vermont guy. He lives in New York. Funny guy. Like, we
Casey James what?
Salengo.
Salengo?
Yeah.
God, did he have a fucking funk band in the 70s?
No, he's the whitest dude you've ever seen.
God.
But he was one of the guests, and his fear was that nobody likes him. So we had to think of it. So one of the things we did, we took his half-hour special and we removed all the laughter from it and made him watch it.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So it's very
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was. That was like the one I was just like, this is
mean.
Yeah. Like this is like, and we're trying to be positive the whole time.
Yeah.
And we just printed out like his lowest performing tweets.
Oh my god! So wait, how did you? What was the final thing?
We hired all these paid actors. And we put nameplates on him like mom, dad, girlfriend, and they just said mean shit to him. And he had to like stand up for himself to these people.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
It was fun. Hopefully Comedy Central wants to make more of them.
They're not watching, dude. What do you think? They're like, oh shit, Shane's doing Jay's podcast? We might want to check that out.
We've both done half-hour specials with them.
You goddamn right we have.
What year did you do yours?
2011.
Okay.
What about you?
17. I think, 17. I remember your Inclinod joke.
My what?
Did you make up facts? Your make up facts joke?
Oh yeah.
Was it
1755? The incarnation.
Yeah, the incarnation.
It was one of my favorite jokes I've ever.
Yeah, it was. I remember thinking it was so funny when you did it.
I don't know. It's never really gotten legs.
No?
You know what I mean? Well, it's just like something like I don't know. I've always looked at stand up like. Oh, once I have a joke and it's done, it's done. Like if I put it out
I'm the
somewhere,
opposite.
I kind of just like leave it.
That part I'm with you on.
Yeah.
But like I think a joke is not done until you put it on something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But then there's like certain like so much you can only wait so long to get an opportunity to put it on.
And also like you lose your legs in it. Like you even if you did love it at one point, it's just like I can't play this fucking thing anymore.
No, you lose passion to do it. It's not like a song where every time you get into it, you're like. Fucking.
I was talking to somebody else about that. Like that's like the big comparisons. Like
always.
They got to play songs that they. That's what people want to hear. They don't have to.
Well, like the Rolling Stones are still touring on the same stuff for 40 years.
It's fucking crazy, and it's like they're doing that, and like I know comics will be like, see, they just have to play the stuff they already know works.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's true, and that there's a comfort in that, but I also think it's like there's a tragedy in that they have to still do those songs all the time. They have to be tired, but. Also, the other thing I was thinking was like it's an opportunity. The fact that they want us to have new things that are great is really difficult, but it's better than just saying the jokes I've been saying.
Yes. Yeah. Comedy's also an element of surprise. You know what I mean? It's like so you can only be surprised so much.
And you can't be surprised by a joke again if you remember it. You can't
you can because delivery is still like even last night when we did a show together last night and I was like everyone knew what the punchline, at least an idea of what it was going to be, because it's like coming off of like something. I can't remember what it was. You know what I mean? And then I give it, and it's a brand new joke.
But they know where they're leading.
They know where it's going.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking that in my head. I'm like, oh, they all know where this is going. But it got like a huge laugh because. It's coming from me. It's coming in our delivery. It's
and
the
also
way
there's
we
a
say
relief in like when they're waiting for you to do it.
Yeah.
That's that whole the joke I did last night that I opened with was the same thing. It was just like they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
and it's just like how long is he going to do this becomes the joke to some regard. Yeah.
There's also that's such a great room.
Yeah. Oh, that place is special, legitimately special.
Yeah, those fans are there for comedy, and they want to see you make them laugh, so they're like on board,
and they want to be excited by you. They want to see new stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're not showing up for the idea of comedy, which happens at a lot of comedy clubs. People just show up for like, I'm going to go see a movie. I don't know, what do you want to see? Let's just go there and see what's playing. Like that's kind of the approach a lot of comedy clubs have, which is crazy good because the good clubs are like, if you like this person, you'll like this person. Yeah, like. They think about it more.
Yeah. No, for sure. But at the same time, the Rolling Stones, do you think there's ever a time that they're going to play Under My Thumb where they're not like going to give it everything they got?
Yes.
They probably... Oh, you do?
I 100% do.
You think they're just like, fuck. All right,
yeah, I mean, I think they're going to give them a show, like, because they're legends, like, so...
Of course.
So they might be the exception to the rule.
Yeah. But Oasis, on the other hand, was probably like, oh, we're going to do fucking Wonderwall again?
Yeah, they might be like tired of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was listening to, have you listened to Brian Koppelman's podcast?
No.
It's called The Moment, so it's just like he interviews people about when they figure out what they want to do with their lives professionally.
Oh, cool.
And he was interviewing that band Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah,
because he was
we spotted the ocean.
Yeah, and he was like, will you guys play that song? And they were it kind of seemed like they were like maybe a little hesitant, or he was asking in a way, he's like, they like knowing that they may not want to play it.
Yeah,
he was. I think he was being considered is a better way to put it.
Yeah,
and they're like, yeah, we'll play it, of course. But like even that, like, the person interviewing you is thinking about you if you actually want to play these songs.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing is what the point I'm trying to...
Yeah,
and they're like, of course we'll do it, yeah.
And there's other bands that, like, faded out because they just couldn't do it anymore. Like, there was this band I loved in college, The Samples, and I loved them to death. And they had, like, 5 albums, and they were like a college band. Like, they would play colleges. And then they just kind of, like, disappeared. And we'd found out, that the lead singer just kind of was like, nah... Like, everybody was like, we need to, like, go mainstream. He's like, nah, that's not what I want to do. I want to, like, just do this. And so they fell apart. And, like, so one night I'm in San Diego doing the Comedy Store, and I'm smoking a cigarette outside. It's a long time ago. And there's this guy there with this girl, and we're all talking. He's like, yeah, man, I thought you were so funny. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And we start talking. He's like, yeah, I used to have a band. And I'm like, oh, that's great, man. What was your band? He's like, oh, you probably don't know them as The Samples. And I go... Are you fucking... I go, dude, are you Sean Kelly? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, bro. I'm like, I'm a huge fan. Little Silver Ring. I started, like, naming songs, and he's like, oh, wow. I go, what happened? What fucking happened, man? And
you should have him on.
I mean, I probably could,
I mean, that'd be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm just down here recording some stuff. And, like, I mean, they probably were set and, like, had made enough money that they,
Yeah, but it was like, he's a talented guy, and he just kind of
super. And he's got an amazing voice, and I loved that band. And he just was like, yeah, it's just not what... sometimes you get into something thinking it's going to be something, and then the curtain gets pulled, and you're like,
yes.
Oh, it's actually this?
I bet we know so many comedians who were like, I wanted to have fun and thought this was an interesting way to do this. And then, like, you get further down the road because there's this immediacy in comedy for people to be like, you have to take it seriously and you have to make it a career. It's already hard enough. And then I think some people get caught up in that and being like, well, maybe I don't love this as much as I thought I did, but now I feel like I'm too far down this road. So now I have to go to, Pocatello, Idaho once a year. And, and I think that's really sad. So I think the courage to walk away from something is kind of, like, even if it is something you love.
Yeah. And this is like something that I always think about is like, like Misery Loves Company, and it's also like people aren't going to rally around you if you're going to leave something because you have this principle or some idea. You know what I mean? Like if you're a comedian and you see someone getting out of comedy, you might not be like, hey, great idea, man, because you have this thing in the back of your head like, oh shit, do I need to get out of comedy? Like, why is he getting out of comedy? You know what I mean? So like that's especially hard for someone who like gets out, because if you're getting out, the other thing with comedy and the entertainment business is like could be right around the corner.
That's the thing. You see the burst. Yeah. And I think like I was telling myself that the other day. I was at the Cellar and I was sitting with all these other comics that were more so have done very well, and we're just in there and we're all working. And I was like, maybe it's just right around the corner. Like that. That life is not that far away. Because like, I was talking with some of them, and I'd be like, this guy's like the richest person ever. And I was just like, but I don't think he's so much better than me that it's not possible. Like maybe he makes smarter moves than I do.
Yeah.
But like as far like on stage, I was like maybe he is, maybe he isn't. You know, like but like I don't feel I wasn't quaking in my boots if I had to follow him or go up before. You know, like any of that kind of stuff. And
that's the best, by the way.
Yeah,
is when you get to that point where you're like, oh, I don't care who I go at. When do I go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go hit this motherfucker in the mouth too. Yeah. Like that's the only person I ever like am terrified of is Dave Attell when he goes up because he's the funniest person alive to me. Like everything, the way he works, it's crazy to watch, and I can't ever stop laughing when I watch him. And I'll still follow him, and I'll still do okay, you know, like or better than okay. But he just like you're just like Jesus Christ, this guy's like it's like watching. To me, I've used this analogy a lot, but it's like watching Michael Jordan play basketball. It's like clearly this is the best guy on the floor, and then everybody else is probably pretty good.
But Scottie Pippen can still throw up a triple-double the same game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I've found
and
recently,
also it doesn't mean I can't be that guy at some point.
No, and I've had like this experience recently where I've been in a position at the Comedy Store, following studs that are talking on stage about how much they can't stand people that are just like me. Like, they're not talking about me, but they're just, like, not for the idea of what I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have to go after it. And I was, like, backstage. I'm like, oh, shit. How is this going to go? And then I got up, and all I did was call attention to it. And it crushed, and then I went right into my thing, and I was like, oh, they can laugh at that person for what they're saying, and at the same time they can enjoy you for what you're saying,
for sure.
And it was just such a relief and a realization that like there's no need to get worried. Funny is gonna conquer funny.
Address it. You know, you can't have like a big hunk of shit on your face and not talk about it if you're up there, but like whatever that is, you have to get in front of it. Yeah. Well,
this was awesome, dude.
This was a blast, man.
I appreciate you making the time, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Shane
You're
Torres
right, that drive
is in
to the
town.
west side isn't that bad.
It's not, man. You just got to pick your spots.
Yeah, you were on your high horse about it in the green room last night. You were so mad, like, because you were like...
You were
like, people from the east side act like going to the west side is the end of the gun, but people from the west side go to the east side all the time. Our air's better where we're at. Our water is better. Like, you were going nuts, and... Then I was like, yeah, I'll do your podcast.
Yeah, and then you got over here and you're like, man, do you always have a breeze like this? Like, yeah.
I did, yeah.
Always.
I truly did. And I was like, man, I love these little beach houses, man.
You know it.
Yeah.
You're the best, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.